Last night, we saw Bitcoin break 94,000, which is exactly what I wanted to happen on the short term. We have since then come down a little bit, and I want to discuss all of the most important news that's happening, Bitcoin's price action. Exactly what we were discussing is what happened. We, in fact, broke 93,004, and we went all the way as high as 94,006. We wicked above the previous high, putting in a new high. The only thing that I don't really like is that the candle body didn't close above the previous candle body closes, but we did get the wick above it. So right now, all eyes are really on the region between 92 and all the way, depending on how you're looking at it, could be 89 or could also be 86, depending on the time frame that you're looking at. But right now, what I'm seeing is relatively bullish. So do we confirm the bullish breakout? Well, we have pushed up, we broke out of the wedge I've been watching, and we're coming down to retest. Now, don't forget, we did come down to retest back on the 4th here, and we got rejected. So will we get rejected again, or could this be the moment that Bitcoin actually starts to break out once again? Isn't it absolutely incredible, though, if you go over to the timeline, right, and you take a look? It's so incredibly bullish in a moment where the price action is bullish. Like, everyone has flipped on a dime here, right? Almost instantaneously, the bears are gone and the bulls are here saying, see, I told you, all of this good news, yada, yada, yada. And what's important to remember in a moment like this, which is slight euphoria, is how far we've actually come down and how small of a bounce in comparison to that this is yet. Now, remember, depending on how you look at this pattern, it could be deemed as a bearish pattern. So if we do break down, there could be a lot more downside to go, even if we do continue inevitably up. Okay, guys, so I want you to be prepared for that. And I want you to understand that market makers, people who want the clicks and all of that, they will rely on your emotion. All right. So in a moment like this, the bullish stories are what people click on. So that's what our timelines are covered in. When the market goes down, the bearish news, the bearish headlines are what people click on. So that's what covers our timeline. So don't be clouded by the news and the sentiment. Use your strategy, use your research, and combine that, right, with an overall outlook. Look at people who are bearish, look at people who are bullish. Make sure those people are not flipping with the news. All right. Make sure you're not following people who change their tune, change their opinions the second the news changed, because that's how we get caught up. That's how I lost all my money in 2017. I stayed bullish on random altcoins that I shouldn't have, right? And that was my fault. But that's what we live and we learn. All right. With that said, guys, Bitcoin pumped 3,000 from 90K to 93K and liquidated $140 million worth of shorts. I can't say we didn't expect this to happen, all right? It took longer than I thought, but we have finally had somewhat of a short squeeze. And look at that. This is actually very nice to see. People have been building their shorts. Even though we had a ton of shorts be liquidated, people have been building up those short positions, adding more and more. And that's what I do want to see. Now, one thing that's a little bit worrying over here, 7.3 billion of longs, which means that people are going long late, which is probably the reason why we've had not a too sharp a correction, but at least this pullback here. But this pullback here is creating the stair stepping that we want. And this pullback will, of course, start liquidating long positions. So expect extreme volatility as the market's risk appetite increases. Do you know what President Trump is telling the Fed to do? Cut interest rates. We do have President Trump will interview for final candidates for the Fed chair this week. We had 150 billion added to the crypto market. This includes BlackRock and Fidelity buying $108 million worth of Ethereum, the most hated altcoin on the planet. And we got the USA's 6th largest bank, PNC, partnering with Coinbase to enable Bitcoin trading for clients. We've got a new strategy-esque company going live on the New York Stock Exchange, and this guy vows to buy as much Bitcoin as possible, reducing the supply every single day. But as we get more and more bullish, yes, we have rate cuts most likely happening later today. The market is expecting 25 basis points. So if we get that, it probably, to be honest, will do nothing or be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. If we get 50, then of course, I think we'll rally. If we get none, the market is going to be unhappy and will most likely dump. So be prepared for volatility. What is your plan if the volatility happens? Do you have your stop losses in place to protect your downside? Do you have your profit-taking strategy ready? All right, make sure you do. I don't know your financial situation, so you have to figure out your own strategy. But what you get here on this channel is updates every day about the market, and I will continue to show up. So do me a favor, guys, subscribe to this channel, help me out. Let's push this above 301,000 subscribers. Please help me out down there in the comment, in the subscription section, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.